Hi, welcome back to the channel. Y'all said you want to see it. Let's get after it. I'm going to show you how to install this gas cap recessed into this sail panel on this 1967 Ford Mustang. Let's get to it. First, I got to find a marker. Alright, so as you can see, I've got this gas cap taped in place. I screwed it forward, didn't like it, screwed it back, didn't like it. I watched the movie, freeze framed it. I think they might have had it scooted just a little bit further forward, but I like it right here because I've got a little bit of space between the edge. You see this line? I got a little bit of space above this line, or above the cap and below the line. Same down here, a little bit of space, a little bit of space. That's the way I like it. The further down you scoot it, the edges of your cap's going to be too close to the bottom and too close to the edge of this line. If you scoot it forward, you're obviously going to have more room on the inside of the car for your fill cap or your tube, your fill tube. But I'm going to put mine right here because that's where I put the last one and I really liked it. It worked out great. So I taped it in place. I stood back. I looked at it. It looks great. That's where I'm going to put it. So now I'm going to put me a couple marks just to kind of outline where this cap is at. And trace it best I can. I need to find my black marker. So now we know where that cap was at, where it looked the best. And I may scoot it up just a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to scoot it up just a tickle. Because where I had it taped, it's kind of sagged a little bit and fell down. I need to find my black marker though, because that's silver and that's silver. You really can't see it. Alright, so now we got that in place. Where we think we want it. Take this off, put this back in our box. Can y'all see that on the camera? Probably not. So you see where I marked it. That's where I want to put my hole. That's where we're going to start at. Get you back down here. Let me go find my black marker. Alright, we got her on pro mode now. Like we're making a cinematic movie. Not really. Not really. But anyway, y'all can see this now. So the next step, we all back out of the shot a little bit here. So our next step's going to be, and I tell y'all what, I've been trying for the past hour to get my mics to connect with my phone. They will not connect with my phone in this metal building. They will connect to my phone in my house. They will not connect in this metal building. I don't know why. It will not work. I'm about ready to take and run over them with the tractor. But anyway, so we need to find the center of this. I don't recommend going by the end, but you can. So this is a 5.5 inch circle. Half of 5 inches is what? 2.5 and 2.5 is 5. So we need to go to 2 3/4. Put us a mark. 2 3/4. We'll put us a line. Then we'll go 2 3/4 down. It's our imaginary circle we made. That should be the center, but we're gonna try something just to make sure. Man, I got marker on it. We'll have to get that off. We'll finish drawing our circle here. Just to be certain. 2 3/4 down. Oh yeah, we're on the money, 2 3/4. So that's the center. Sure don't look like the center. That is the center. Can y'all see that? Probably not. Get y'all a little closer here. So we found our circle. We made our circle around our tip, around our gas cap. It was 5 1/2. Half of 5 1/2 is 2 3/4. Made us a mark. Measured it again. Made us a mark. We got our center. Now we know where to cut our hole. Now I got to spend half an hour looking for my hole saw. I don't think I used a hole saw last time. I think it's too big. It is coming a storm outside. There was some pretty bad tornadoes last night. Supposed to be some pretty bad weather tonight too, guys. So let's everybody say a prayer for everyone. Missouri got it pretty bad. A couple people here in my town got it pretty bad. Lightning struck some houses and I reckon caught them on fire. One burnt to the ground. I really feel sorry for these people. Y'all stay safe. Today's a very bad, windy, stormy day. But let's get back to this car. There's many different ways that you could cut this out. I reckon you could use one of these. This one's about half wore out and it doesn't work very good anymore, but you could go get you one of these little saws right here. It'd take you a long time to do it, but you could cut it out with one of these little saws. I'm going to do it with a cutoff wheel, and if I can find my glasses, I'm going to cut it. Y'all hear that? It sounds like a tornado's coming now. It's shaking my whole building. It gets too bad, I may have to stop this video, guys, because I ain't going to stay here in this metal shop and get blown away. I want to open up this window, this door, but it's awful windy. I kind of want to see if anything's coming too. Like I said, guys, I tried to use those microphones. I know y'all can't hear me half the time, and I really tried. I can't get my little microphones to connect to my phone. They'll come on, they just will not connect to the phone. They will connect in the house. They will not connect out here in this metal shop. I don't know what the problem is. This is where you get to. This is a point of no return. Once you start cutting, it's the point of no return, guys. I didn't want to use a hose saw because a hose saw, it's a little bit too big for what I want to do. You'd have a little bit too big of a gap around your cap, and I don't like that. I want it to be nice and snug, nice smooth finish. We're going to use this. Let's get after it. No turning back now. Oh, by the way, make sure you tape up your glass. Make sure there's no glass showing because these sparks will ruin your windows. Here we go, no turning back. I'm not cutting into it like this. If you do it like this, you're going to have a bunch of ugly straight lines. Tilt your, if you're using one of these, it's not sounding good, guys. Tilt your cutoff wheel so that it's curved, it's the same curve as your circle that you're cutting out. Might take a little while, but you can do it. Just popped in. Okay. Now see this panel right here? That's your inner structure. Gets real close, don't it? Ain't too shabby. Alright, so our next step is we're going to take our grinding rock and we're going to try to smooth out any rough edges that we've got. The round rock is going to make it kind of easy to do. Use the roundness of the rock to straighten out your outline of your hole. Alright, that looks pretty good. It's a lot easier to do this. See, when I first started putting this car together, I had intended on leaving the gas fill door in the back of the car, just like the 67 Shelby's was supposed to be, because I was building a 67 Shelby clone at that time. Well, now that I've switched gears and I've decided I want to build this into an Eleanor, I decided I want to put this on the side. If I had known I was going to do that, I would have went ahead and notched this right here out and boxed it for my fill tube to go into and recess into this. So now I got to go in here and I got to bore me a hole and I got to trim this back. It's not that hard to do. It's just, it's a little aggravating that I got to do it when I could have done it then before I had the quarters on. Now I got to do it from inside the trunk. I'm going to start out, find the center. We're going to bore us a hole. Then we're going to go on the inside, we're going to cut it, we're going to notch this. Ain't no big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up here. And then I'm going to visualize. I'm looking straight into the hole here. And I'm going to mark the center. Because if you measure it, mark the center, it won't be right. Because you gotta actually configure, take into account that this is at an angle this way, and that in there is kind of going straight down. So it's better to do it this way. Hold your gas cap up there, look straight at it, and mark the center. Alrighty. Y'all look at this hole, you'll see what I'm talking about. You see how it looks like that hole that I just bored is closer to the bottom of this hole, the bigger hole? It's really not. It's just an optical illusion. That's why I said don't measure and do it. You get up here eye level with it. See now? It's because this is at an angle. That's why it does that. That's why you have to put your gas cap in your hole, visualize and mark your center. That's what we want. Alright, I gotta go find me some metal that we're going to use to make our recess. I will return. Guys, I apologize for the noise. I mean, we was under a tornado threat a while ago. That don't sound too good right there. I've been in the house for over an hour because a tornado passed through my area. I mean, I don't know what to do. I need to go back in the basement. Sounds like another one's coming through. I don't like being cooped up in the house. Next step would be take your pencil and go around this, the edge of where you cut it. In my case, the reason why I say that is because pencil's graphite. I got some graphite powder I'm going to use. I'll go around the hole. cereal box. I use these cereal boxes for everything. Like them tornadoes, I got me worried. I hope everybody's okay. I'm gonna take the cereal box and find my opening and start pressing on it. Graphite didn't work so good, but you can see we got to cut that out now. We need that out of metal. All right, now we've got a circle. Cool. That's kind of funny. He's like, what have you done? Once we make it out of metal, we can always grind it till it just falls through our hole. Right now we're the exact same size as our hole. Now, we need about a 1/2 inch lip. So we're going to need something like that there out of metal, but it's going to be longer because that ain't long enough, see? The idea is, we're going to cut this out of metal. We're going to cut us a 1/2 inch wide strip out of metal. And then we're going to just tack it to this, to the sides of this, until we have us a little recess like a cup. Boys, my shop got a little bit flooded. It's flooded in the back door and it's come through the other door and run in here. Ain't nothing I can go back. We're under a flash flood watch right now, or flash flood warning. So I got my little template I made. Now we just got to transfer it to our metal. Ain't none of my markers very good either. Like I said, I apologize for the noise. It's coming to flood and I can't get my little mics to work. They won't connect. They'll come on. So that'll come on. That'll come on. They'll link to each other, but they won't hook up to my phone. They will in the house, but they won't out here in the shop. I don't understand why. It ain't sounding good outside. I'm hearing a lot of rumbling. Hopefully somebody will come in here and get me before a tornado swoops me away. Of the storm, come on in. I won't let nothing get you, okay? here, honey. Let's get that old storm on it. Can't be over here by grinding and get it in your eyeballs, honey. So, I cut my piece of metal. It might be a little wider than a 1/2 inch. And I just started bending it around my piece I cut out to begin with, just to kind of give it some shape. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to stuff it into our hole, just like this. We're going to overlap the ends and square it up in our hole. Square it up in our round hole. We're going to round it up in our hole. Make sure it's pushed all the way up against that sides. And what you're going to do is you're going to push this tight. And then we're going to clamp it with some vice grips, just right here. If I can find some. I had some earlier. What do I do with them? What am I doing with my vice grips, Ellie? There you are. Really need to be using like some needle nose vice grips, but I couldn't tell you where mine are at. So we're going to push it together like this. We're going to clamp it. So, then we're going to pull it out of this hole. It's nice and flat. See that? We got a flat surface on this side, and that's what we want. Because we're going to be welding this to this. And we're probably going to have to come around. See how it's a little bit wider. This is. We knew that, or I knew that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here. I'm going to throw some tacks on the inside just to hold it in place. I'm going to weld it on the outside, and then we'll grind it down smooth. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it right here. I'm going to cut it, then I'm going to weld it together right there. So we're going to mark it. When we cut it, we're going to cut it on this side of our mark. You want to see that? Probably not. Oh, my camera won't zoom. Zoom out. Purdy right there. Alright, I'm back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lay our piece that we cut out. We're going to lay it right on the top side. Just like this. We're going to put a couple tack nails in it. There's one. Put another one up here. Make sure we're still flat. This one over here. Put this one down here. And we'll put one out here. Alright, all that's going to do is just hold our shape. Now we can take that out after I blow it off. Alright. Definitely don't want to burn through a blanket. So y'all seen what we done? So when we had that flipped around, we tack welded the back side of it. That kept us our nice round shape. If we had took that out and tried to weld to this, chances are we would have gotten it oblong and it wouldn't fit in our hole no more. So now all we gotta do is, we gotta come in here, we gotta grind this down to where all this is flush. As if you look, you can see that it's hanging over. So that means that will not go through the body of the car. I'm gonna go grind that down and then we're gonna tack all this together. Alright, so I ground her down. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to burn in some pretty good welds, and then we're gonna have to grind her back flush. So you gotta burn it in good. You don't want to weld it in here, because if you weld it in here, you got a whole lot of welding you're gonna have to grind down in here. And you know, you can't get over here. I can start welding, honey. I can start welding. Come over here, honey. You gonna weld this up for me? You can't be over here, honey. Come over here, honey. If I go right down, honey. Look, see that? Go here. Go here, sit down, okay? Down here, sit down. Good girl, sit down right there, okay? Ellie. We got her welded. Notice I grind her down, Ellie. That's gonna take a minute, ain't it? Just a bunch of little welds, but they're burned in all the way to the inside. Y'all see that? It's a lot easier to clean them up from the inside like that than it is like if you welded it on the inside. It's a lot harder to grind those down. Those are going to be easy to grind down. You definitely know you got it burned in good when they're coming all the way through like that. All right, Eddie. There she is, boys and girls. All welded and ground down. Now we just gotta see if she still fits. Now you better work. Ain't no camera trickery going on here. We're struggling. There we go. Ah, that's a tight fit. I like that. Probably need to lay my hammer on my moldings or my back glass. That ain't very smart. So we got a recess down in here. Now we just need to figure out exactly where we want it. Right now she's too deep. We need to bring it out to where we're just about flush with the body. Just kind of got to get it where you want it. Like, do you want it flush at the bottom? Do you want it flush at the top? Because the way this car is made and the way it swoops down, you can't have it all. See what I'm talking about? So these lines are kind of curved. You got to kind of figure out what you want. You'll see that? It's now recessed back in there. And it'll never be completely perfect recessed unless you recessed it back so much that it drops down below this. See, this is kind of almost flush. So on the sides, it's down in there on the sides. You never get it exactly the way you want it. You can recess it way back in there, but you got to keep in mind, you got to be able to push this button right here to open it. And this right here's got to be able to open up. Get down in there too far, this won't open up all the way. I'm not grinding it down and making my metal thin. The only thing I'm hitting is the welds. I'm not actually hitting the quarter panel that much. I'm just hitting the welds and then polishing the metal more or less. Now we go in here with our rock and clean up our inside. Alright, now we gotta switch to something else. What I'm grinding down is the welds raw. Welding this panel together. Where it got the hot and puddled up, you know. We're making it back round again. Oh, she's starting to look like something, boys. And girls. What is it, Daddy? Let me throw your pine cone. She says, it's muddy back here, boys. She's wanting her pine cone. It all depends on how you look at it. Get y'all down here. Y'all can really see that it is a round circle. It all depends on how you look at it. See? If we're looking straight at it like this, she's round. If you come in here looking at it like this, look more oval. I want a little spot right there. I need to hit with a welder, metal finish it. But for the most part, she's metal finished. I mean, person could prime that right there and block it right now, and she'd be good to go. No body filler. None whatsoever. All right. Let's see what she looks like now. Now see that? Is that pretty? I think it looks great. I'm happy with it. Of course, we're going to mount it. We're not going to make it. We're not going to turn it like that because that looks goofy. I don't know why people make them straight. You want to make it like that. Pretend like you're going to the center. Like from here to here. Maybe zoom you all out. So say we go from this point to this point, find the middle. That's where you want to line up this. Kind of want to make that flow right to the center of that. Makes it look a lot better. I need to turn it down just a little bit. There we go. So we've now got our gas door recessed into our car. It's metal finished, no body filler. All we gotta do now is bore our hole in the center. So we gotta find the center of this again. Which, I mean, I drilled that hole, but I'm sure that's not the center. But we'll figure out what the center is, and we'll go in here, we'll bore our hole again, and that'll be for our filler tube. Alright, well, for the most part, we're done. The only thing we have to do now, you got to take our filler neck off the back. It's still hooked up to the car. I'm going to keep it hooked up to the car because I don't want to take no chance on me getting blowed up, getting welding sparks down in the gas tank, or getting Bondo dust down the gas tank. So for now, I'm going to leave it hooked up. I am going to go ahead and drill my holes. And all I done was I lined it up on the car the way I wanted it, and I just marked through my holes here. Alright, so what we're going to use is we're going to use some of these nut inserts on our body, and that's what's going to hold our gas cap on. Alright, we're going to put our first one in. I know we go more than that, right? Really? I guess that's all it needs. I sure didn't seem like a whole lot. It looks like it's seated though. That's all that matters. I can't remember if this came with bolts or not. I know these ain't the right bolts, but just keep it from falling off. It's gonna have to be some bolts with a, you know, it's tapered on the back side and like a Phillips head on this side. There we go. We got a pop open gas lid now on the side. It's pretty cool. That's all there is to it, guys. Like I said, the only thing left to do now is we got to pull our filler tube off the back, and then we got to go inside the trunk, and anything that the filler tube's going to be hitting, we're going to go down and we're going to have to cut that out, because the filler tube's going to come down and around. And then I usually just use like a piece of exhaust pipe to go from the tank and around, and then I'll just use a piece of rubber hose with 2 clamps here, and then use your factory hose on your tank, and you're done. I usually make me a little strap. I'll go from my piece of pipe up to the body of the car just to keep the tube from flopping around, because we don't want no pressure on our body right here, because if it's flopping around, it's moving this panel right here around. We don't want that. I think I got some pictures of the one I did on the last car, and I'll show you how I done it. That's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm going to show you some pictures of the way I done that last car. It's simple. Take the filler tube out of the back, move it to up here. If your hose don't line up anymore, get to where your filler tube is pointing in the right direction. Re-drill your hose in your filler tube, bolt it up with your cap. You are going to have to go on the inside, and you're going to have to cut that inside. If you've got a real fastback, you're going to have to cut that inside panel. You're going to have to trim it out so that your filler tube will go in there, and you'll be able to get your hose on. If you don't have a real fastback and you just did it the cheap, like the cheap version, the way I showed it on a couple of my other videos, how to make a fastback the cheap way. If you just got a piece of metal welded in there and it's not a real fastback, you don't even have to cut nothing. You can do it just like this. It'll go right into place and it'll work. It's beautiful. You ain't got to do none of this on the inside. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. It ain't that complicated. It's a little time consuming. It can be done. If you do it this way, you save yourself about $250. Because if you have to buy this kit offline, it's expensive. By the time you buy that pipe, the hose, the clamps, the gas cap, the recess, it's expensive. You save yourself a lot of money by doing it this way. That's how I do it. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe. Until next time.